to respond from a challenging game last time out.
Iowa State won the toss and chose to defer from the home of the Chiefs, who will play here in less than 24 hours. It is Kansas with the football first, and a strong return for Trevor Wilson of 22 yards. And so on comes the Kansas offense, and that means not just Jalen Daniels, but his running mate Devin Neal, who's on the verge of history. Went to high school at Lawrence High School, just a couple miles away from campus, and today he is 7 yards away from setting the all-time Kansas rushing record.
What a path by him. It was great talking to Coach Leipold. He said he's an ambassador for life at this institution. Chose to come on back like you referenced. Expect them to run the football a ton, and that always goes through number 4.
Coaching staffs that have faced off a lot over the years, and here is Neal. First carry of the game is the record setter. The young man who grew up in Lawrence has just become the king of the Kansas rushing record books.
We're in an era of college football where you don't always stay home. You don't always stay for long when you have the success like Devin Neal has. And look at that, take a screen grab for the rest of your life. Devin Neal, the real deal, and now at the top of the record book.
And he puts his team in midfield. So Daniels looking to throw, and that's going to be short of the intended receiver, Devin Neal. So Daniels just turned 22 before Halloween during the bye week, but this is only his 30th career start. He started his first game as a 17-year-old, and he's starting to find his groove in the last 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic competitor. We had a chance to spend some time with him yesterday after practice, and at times throughout his career, and especially this season, he's tried to put his team on his back, and sometimes he could do a little too much. This game, as you referenced in the open, as much as taking what this defense gives you, a little triple option to kick it off.
And Neal keeping it, and that is immediately stopped by Miles Mendezoon for no gain. Second fewest sacks allowed in the conference from that Kansas offensive line. Of course, a big part of that is what you see, the availability, the flexibility, the versatility of Jalen Daniels.
Well, here on a third down, it's going to be Daniels to Luke Grimm. He's a captain. He's a senior as well. They love finding this man the football.
Dougie Million is the man in motion, and they're going to give it to the back on third down and long, and it makes you wonder if they're thinking 4-down territory here. 7 yards on the pickup there.
Yeah, I think 4-down territory is going to be a conversation in this game. I think it's really when they cross the 40, so they're going to come out and play field position early. Interesting also on that third down, Luke Grimm not in the ball game on that snap as they ran the football.
So Damon Graves is on to punt it away to Jalen Knoll, a man who does it all for Iowa State. Wind could play a factor today. It looks beautiful, but down on the field before the game, a lot of cross breeze. You can't do it more perfect than that. All the way down to the 1 yard line from Damon Graves.
This game, these teams, I think they're really tight talent-wise, guy. This game's going to be one of the margins. Special teams is that margin that often gets ignored. Field position in this battle early on, beautifully done from KU special teams. Put him inside the 1.
Quentin Skinner is the man that downed it. Now here comes Rocco Becht. His dad, of course, played at West Virginia, a long NFL career, but played here for the Chiefs in his last year in the league. And so Rocco in a familiar place, but in a tough position. And he uses those strong legs. I know you talked to him pregame, Yogi. He's been at the squat rack, and he gets his team some breathing.
Yeah, and he loves this offensive line. And whenever it's short yardage, they just run the quarterback sneak. You'll see that throughout this ballgame. You also see that man highlighted, Jalen Knoll, a lot as well from Kansas City, a Chiefs fan, and an opportunity to play in this game. He'll get in once they get outside of the tight red zone, backed up inside the 5 here.
And they'll hand it off. And a flag comes in. Carson Hansen got the carry.
I think it's going to be a false start on Iowa State. And again, the margins, right? Self-inflicted negatives.
Start, number 84, offense. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal line. Second down.
Yeah, Iowa State traditionally, especially this season, they've been one of the least penalized teams in the country. Last time out, they really struggled. And I think when you're backed up, you got the band right behind you, it's early in the game, you're trying to get back on track. That's a self-inflicted negative. And remember, Benjamin Bramer, the tight end guy, unlikely to go today as well for them on the edge there at the end position.
Carson Hansen still the back. And he'll get the toss. And he gets a big hole, and this will be very near. It is a first down. J.B. Brown finally tracked him down.
It's a nice play coming out of the pistol with a fullback, and it's the quick toss, but it's downhill. A lot of times you see those tosses, guy, and you're trying to get to the edge, try to get downhill immediately and work your way outside. Look at that stiff arm, using the momentum of the defender to propel Hansen forward. And Hansen's been banged up a little bit. Looks pretty good early in this one.
Yeah, Abu Sama was the guy that really played well late last week in the loss to Texas Tech. Expect to see a lot of him today as well. Backed on the money to Jaden Higgins, that 1-2 combo, and that's a 10-yard pickup. Higgins and Knoll, there's no secret about what makes this Iowa State passing game go.
No, and they've gone up against this Jayhawk defense a few times now. The big thing with the Kansas front, they like to move a lot pre-snap. These linebackers going to be very active in this ball game, and they love the guys outside a corner, Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson. So keep an eye on that. The snap count, the cadence. A quarterback for Rocco Becht, you want to get a beat a little bit on where this defense is going to slant to.
Abu Sama on the play action, and it's complete over the middle to Knoll, and another chunk play for this Cyclone offense, 16 yards.
This is impressive. A little RPO. You'll see the safety, Marvin Grant. He'll come in, he'll bite on it right there inside, and bam, it's a slant right behind him to Knoll as they go hurry up.
Becht looking. Goes to the sideline, good coverage, and unable to bring it down is Jaden Higgins, but a flag comes in. He was battling with Kobe Bryant, who might have done a little too much.
Well, it was a nice route, a little double move from Higgins up against Kobe Bryant, to your point. I thought early on there was no contact. Bam, there it is, double move. Bryant's all over. Now watch his head as he turns the ball.
Number 2.
Yeah, there's the grab.
Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I think at first I'm saying no penalty, but then you see that hand right inside the collarbone there on the shoulder pads. Good call by the officials. And we'll be seeing this matchup all game long. Guy will be all over it up here. You got elite corners, and Kansas knows they want to play man coverage and try to stop the run with the other 9 defenders. They'll put them on an island like they just did.
Hansen back in the game at running back. And he's going to get it again. And a big hole, and another first down. 16 yards again on the pickup.
Tell you what, Gerard Hufford, the center, does a really nice job. And again, you'll see Hansen just put that foot in the ground. Bam, cuts right behind his center and his right guard. Beautiful job there, getting downhill. And here comes the tempo again.
And back to the ground, feeding Hansen. And he's able to get another good pickup.
Okay, so Iowa State, guy, they've got 3 different tempos within their offense for the most part when you study them on tape. This part right now for them is you'll see them kind of do a little muddle huddling. They'll get the play call through the headset, and they want to try to assess what the front is, especially down here in the fridge red zone area. Is Kansas going to move this defensive front? And you see everybody looking at their sideline. They're all getting little checks here in this area on the field. There's the audible.
Good protection. That cuts it loose. Knowles got it. Touchdown Cyclones. A 99-yard march with splash plays all over the field.
How about the route from the slot? Right there's that man, the hometown, Jalen Knoll, and he runs right by the defender. Beautifully thrown ball. if you were going to get back on track, I think you'd identify number 13 and say, let's follow his lead. That is how you respond coming off a challenging loss.
Kyle Conrady with the point after. The full length of the field for the Cyclones. No problem. Big game, big response. An immediate statement from this Iowa State offense. A drive that started inside the 1 yard line and included a penalty. Over 12 yards per play. And that is history for Rocco Becht. His 13th straight game with a touchdown pass, which passes Brock Purdy for the most in school history. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good company there. Matt Campbell told us this week that he said, look, last time we played was a blip in the moment. Wanted to find out if that's who his team truly was, or was it just a blip?
And so after the touchdown, Kansas, who punted early in the game, with its second offensive opportunity against an Iowa State defense that is #1 in the league and top 10 in the nation in scoring. They just give up 15 points per game. So that's what Jalen Daniels is now stepping out to face again.
Yeah, and they've got a unique scheme. Keep an eye in the middle of the field. Number 17, Beau Freyler. He is one of their most dynamic players. They play this unique 3-3-5 defense alignment. And the whole goal is to keep everything in front of you. And Freyler, you see him right in the middle of the field. There he is, the captain. He can fit in the run. He can play pass. It's hard to identify what to do against him.
Here's Devin Neal, who set the Kansas rushing record all time on the first possession, and he gets 4 yards here on first down.
And who was all over him? It was that guy, Beau Freyler. I mean, guy, you'll see him line up like that step. He's 8 yards from the line of scrimmage. There'll be times when he's 18 yards from the line of scrimmage. So the communication, especially at wide receiver in the run game, who's going to block him? How do you block him? That's a big element of this game for Kansas.
So what position does he play?
We're going to call it middle.
Okay.
Middle, safety, hybrid. I mean, he's just the absolute key to this defense, now playing deep safety.
Daniels all the time in the world, and that's on the money. Luke Grimm all the way for a Kansas touchdown. 70-yard answer.
What did Coach Leipold tell us? Not worried about how his team's going to respond. They respond beautifully, and they bring that man in, Luke Grimm, who did not play on that initial drive. 70 yards to the house, looks off the safety. The throw beats the coverage from Beau Freyler. Big time from Daniels to his top target.
Tabor Allen to tie the game. Explosive plays, name of the game so far.
Yes, it is. Sometimes my arm will beat your coverage. And we got a classic at Arrowhead kicking off. Well, we said this game would be won in the margins. This one is by inches. That's Beau Freyler, the safety. He looks like he's going to play middle safety center fielder. As the snap unfolds, all of a sudden it's too high. Two high safeties, and the arm, the throw beats the coverage right beyond the fingertips of Beau Freyler to Luke Grimm, and he is excited, and that is a team who's responded with their backs against the wall early at Arrowhead.
He grew up an Eagles fan, Grimm, so it's a little extra special here today. So Iowa State and Kansas expanding blows here to start this game. So Rocco Becht, who just led the great drive. You know, the run game was a big part of it. The passing game, though, with these two, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll.
Yeah, look,
I mean, look what they do.
Yeah, Iowa State wants to be a downhill run team, but they know their best players are those two individuals to the left of your screen in Knoll and Higgins. They're going to find ways to continue to feed them, especially if they can have success running the football like they did with Hansen early on. It's only good things for those explosive wideouts.
They'll hand it off to Knoll. 12 yards of play on the opening drive. And now they little something different here to start this one.
Yeah, look, offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser, he likes to script early plays, and now you've got like a traditional drive. You're not starting at your -1 yard line. You got good field position. You see them early on now trying to find some tendencies from this KU defense. What are they going to do when they motion a receiver into the backfield? Now what are they going to do in this formation? 3-by-1, 3 receivers, and a tight end to the top, 1 wide out at the bottom.
Nolan Higgins together at the bottom of the screen. Becht is looking that way, and now he'll go down, sacked.
That's a coverage sack. You hear that term a lot. What does it mean? It's when there's nobody open in the back end. Really nice job at Taylor Davis, the safety. You'll see as the play unfolds to the right of your screen, there's just nothing doing. He's looking for Higgins, not open there. The rush gets to Rocco Becht. Nice job by this active front. I'd expect pressure here on a 3rd down.
Keenan Caldwell all fired up as he came off, and now it's 3rd down and 13. Pressure right up the middle, and they beat it with the quick throw to Jaden Higgins, and he breaks out for the 1st down. Wow, J.B. Brown almost got to Becht.
Again,
but almost wasn't good enough.
Again, in the margin. Here comes the pressure, unblocked. Becht knows it. See how he slides, that savviness in the pocket we talked about early on. Understands this timing and the space. Nice job by him, and now it looks like a false start.
False start.
The next snap.
Number 84, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Go back, check out that previous play. Sometimes when you're playing quarterback guy and you're going to set up a screen, you know you're going to take a shot. He does that, and again, it's that subtle movement by him, feeling where the defense is coming and understanding the deployment of the rush. Got the ball out, and James Neal, that big left guard, led the way.
And so 1st and 15 after the penalty. We mentioned it. 2 penalties now for Iowa State, one of the least penalized teams in the nation, going into last week when they committed 8. And now flags.
Delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's penalty number 4, 3rd on the offense.
And all 3 on the offense are self-inflicted. Every single one of them, right? I mean, you got 2 false starts. You look at what just happened there in terms of not getting the snap off in time. These are things that you cannot do in this environment, and especially when you know you're going to get your opponent's best. And here comes this defensive Kansas. Do they drop 8? Do they try to heat up Rocco Becht again?
They bring 4, and Becht just checks it down. That's Knoll running with some space to make it about a 2nd down and 12 coming up after a pickup of 8.
So much of playing the quarterback position, especially when the stakes are a CFP or the stakes are a postseason berth, is you got to pick and choose when to take your shots. So I like right now for Rocco Becht, checking the ball down, finding his open receivers. This Kansas defense is playing a ton of zone coverage right now, especially with these long down and distances.
They bring pressure, and Jalen Jackson gets tied down by J.B. Brown after a 2-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 10.
You know, it was fun yesterday, wasn't it, talking to the staff, Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator at Kansas. And he said, look, we can't just line up against people and just win snap after snap. We've got to be exotic. They bring in fresh bodies. Keep an eye on number 45, Dean Miller, defensive end at the bottom of the screen. He's their best pass rusher in these types of situations.
Becht gets it out quickly, but behind Higgins, a little miscommunication, and Iowa State will have to punt.
What a win for this Kansas defense. Really, this whole team. You think of that 99-yard drive, they respond. It's man coverage on that side and just driving on it. Rocco Becht just misses the throw.
So after that great first drive, Iowa State will punt it away. Trevor Wilson is back deep off the foot of Tyler Perkins. And he'll fair catch it around the 10-yard line. So after they were tested on that first drive, the Kansas defense second chance came to play. Some seasons are just unbelievable, and this is unbelievable what's gone on with Kansas this year. 2 wins, 5 of the 6 losses by 1 score. Their point differential is plus 43. That's the highest by any 2-win team in a quarter century. And of course, look at this, right? You got 2 wins, what's your point differential going to be? It should be minus 50 or minus 60, not plus 48. And it just paints a picture of how close and yet how far it feels like at times things have been for Kansas. Daniels flushed on first down, and he's able to make something out of nothing and pick up 11.
You know, we talked to Coach Leipold about how fragile is the psyche of this team based on that graphic and the reality of their record. And he said he was so proud of the leadership and the upperclassmen. There's not a lot of blaming, complaining, or deflecting. This is a really veteran-laden group. By that man you just saw extend for a first down, Jalon Daniels. He hasn't lived up to the quote-unquote hype around him, but he's found a way to stay steady. That's how they feel coming into today.
They started a top 25 team preseason in the league. They were picked 4th. Daniels pulls it down and then just sits down after a pickup of almost 9 yards. But there was so much anticipation, so much hype. This was going to be a team that was going to compete for a Big 12 title. I mean, they lose to Illinois, and the Illinois fans rush the field. And Lance Leipold said, look, that was a wake-up call to our team. Like, hey, we've got a target on our back. And, you know, with a senior-laden group, 60%, they've handled it well.
Yeah, it's been so many of the little things. Nobody has tapped out. Nobody said, hey, I don't want to play anymore. Hey, I'm going to hit the portal. They've stayed connected to this process here, led by that QB rolling out.
Leave the ball in his hands, and he pulls it down and connects for a first down to Trevor Cardell.
I mean, he just makes life so challenging for defenses, right? You think you have him on first down, he runs it, gets a first down. Then it's a real quarterback run, and now look at him climbing to his left. Great vision on the over route, finding Trevor Cardell, his tight end, who's coming off his best game as a Jayhawk last time they played against Kansas State.
Already a 70-yard touchdown pass in this game from Daniels. And now he's going to flip it around the end to Torrey Loughlin, who gets back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Yeah, I think so much of this game, right? Just try to play quarterback on this snap here. You're trying to assess your Jalon Daniels, Beau Freyler, and where he's aligning. He's at 7 yards from the line of scrimmage on the previous snap. And he moves so much. That's what makes it so challenging. So for Jalon Daniels, is he going to audible? Is he going to change the play? He's going to let it roll. Look at Freyler now. He's about 7-8 yards from where the ball is. Play action pass opportunity.
Coming on pressure. Daniels escapes it. And on the move, he heaves it. And it's caught by Quentin Skinner. Good luck.
I mean, he's assessing where Freyler is every snap. That was a spy. Freyler was following Jalon Daniels, saying, you're not going to beat us again with your legs. See him just hesitate there. No problem. I'll just pull on up and find this weapon, Quentin Skinner. Beautiful corner out, throw it right to the sideline. Yeah, man, first down indeed.
He's been a big spark the last couple of games. He's got 3 touchdowns the last 2. Skinner has been on fire, and now it's first down after another huge passing play. Daniels looking that way again. He wants Skinner again, and he makes the catch, but out of bounds. Incomplete.
Well, you know what's so amazing about this John Haycock defense for Iowa State guy is they don't bring a lot of pressure, right? So you can stand there and try to make a couple throws, and look at that effort. Whew, by about 2 inches. He had the feet down. They were just about 2 inches into the white.
You saved that for the highlight tape.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, you do.
Put it on a green screen.
Yeah.
So now 2nd and 10.
But
we
again,
got a little pistol here.
Yeah, a little pistol. Iowa State doesn't blitz a lot, so it's really about execution, just trying to assess with the motion what the defense is.
Play action for Daniels. And he cuts it loose and right into the window. Another catch for Cardell. That was right on his back hip for 13 yards.
Yeah, it was a really nice job by everybody offensively. You'll see it to the left of the screen there. One tight end's gonna pull that flat defender. Casey does that. Jared Casey, and then just beautifully positioned on the football again to Cardell. And again, when you're not blitzing a lot, I think you're allowing the quarterback to take a picture pre-snap, and a lot of experience right now for Jalen Daniels. He's got a little beat right now where defenders are deploying to.
Now he's going to run the option, and he's going to give it up to Neal, who gets a block from Casey and cuts it in for the Jayhawks touchdown. And that sets a new Kansas rushing record for Devin Neal.
Every which way. Triple option to perfection. The block, as you referenced, from Casey, the kick out, and then the captain and veteran, the real deal, Devin Neal for 6. And this Jayhawk offense, guy, they have done it every which way thus far in the first quarter of this one.
That opening drive punt, a distant memory. Two fantastic but different drives, to your point. A huge splash play to Luke Grimm on the first one, and then feed that man, Devin Neal. A Kansas great and a Kansas lead. Now it's a storied history. First, the Kansas Comet. Gale Sayers from Wichita, a college football Hall of Famer, pro football Hall of Famer. And then he gets followed by another Kansas native, John Riggins, Diesel. Led him to the Orange Bowl in '69. Broke Gale Sayers' then rushing record. And now fast forward to another Kansas native, a Lawrence native, Devin Neal, who sets the career rushing record today and the career rushing touchdowns record today. And there's still a lot of today left.
You know, it was amazing when we talked to Coach Leipold. He said after last season, he sat down with Devin Neal and his family and talked about what it was like to come on back. If he came back, the legacy he could have within the program. He could and will be mentioned with the other two greats that we just saw on that screen, and just try to paint a picture of how this is going to be way bigger than just what you do on the field, but how you impact the community, the state, the sport of football. And he said, yeah, I'm in, man. And it's great to see him in a challenging season, wins and losses wise, to continue to stay with it and lead this team right now.
And set to graduate next month. So from up 7-0 to down 14-7. Rocco Becht in Iowa State, and Becht pressured and brought down. Dean Miller, there he is. The star pass rusher. It's what he does best, off the edge.
He is an elite pass rusher for this group. You'll see him on the bottom of your screen, just unblocked. Absolutely unblocked. You have to account for number 45 every single snap. And right now, as we end the first quarter, Iowa State is saying we have hurt ourselves. And KU has said, you gave us a shot. Look at us go in both phases and special teams. They've done a little bit of everything, just like we thought here, guy. We got a great one kicking off a beautiful Saturday in November.
Time for the T-Mobile team comparison, sponsored by T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. There's what the quarterbacks did in the first quarter.
And I think for Jalen Daniels, he's just been on it in terms of tucking and running. You saw the triple option, big explosive plays from both groups. The biggest issue for Iowa State right now is being behind the sticks because of penalties. They didn't block a defensive end. They've got to get ahead of it for success.
A sack to start this drive, and we start the second quarter. 2nd and 18, and another sack. Becht goes down again. And this defense has been all over him. For the Jayhawks, that's Ronald McGee.
They've rotated a bunch of defensive linemen. They're bringing fresh legs in. And McGee unblocked. Watch him just win with his arms right there off the edge. And that's just physically winning that battle. So they go from not blocking a defensive end to trying to block a defensive end. 2 sacks.
Jalen Knoll just shifted out of the backfield on 3rd and 18, and Becht is going to put it in the hands of the tight end Tyler Moore. This will be 4th and 10, and they'll have to punt again.
I'll tell you what, they've done it creatively in terms of blitzes. they've also done it just with effort, based on that sack on that drive right there. So really got to tip your cap right here to Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator of Kansas. Really impressive after that early drive.
Tyler Perkins out to send it away to Trevor Wilson. And this will send Wilson back to the 22, and he gets tackled after a return of about 3 or 4 yards. A 51-yard punt. Tomorrow we kick off a huge day of football on Fox with a special 2-hour Veterans Day pregame show live from Naval Base San Diego. Then Brock Purdy and the Niners take on Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, or other regional action. It all kicks off at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox. It's a big game for Matt Campbell, Ohio guy, wanted to raise his family Browns fans, and he said Brock Purdy has ruined all of that. All my kids are Niners fans. Even my wife's a Niner fan now. And Brock Purdy is watching this game intently, I'm sure, with his right guard, Dominic Puni, who's a Kansas Jayhawk. So we'll find out who wins this game. You know, one of them will be wearing the other team's uniform in practice on Monday. Flags come flying in after that Devin Neal carry.
Personal foul, face mask, number 52. Defense, 15 yards. Added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
It's right at the end. That's right there. That's an easy call for the officials. And again, Iowa State, this is a team that, heading into at least last game, they did not commit penalties. We've seen them continue to hurt themselves. Already 5 penalties on the day. They've been drive extenders for Kansas when they have the ball, and they have been drive killers when Iowa State is at the Rock.
Daniel Highshaw, the back, been a little banged up, maybe on a bit of a pitch count. He doesn't take it. It's Daniels who keeps it, and Daniels who flies forward for a pickup of 9 yards.
Guy, imagine trying to play defense against this defense right now. You're faking the zone read, outside zone. Watch this. Right as the play begins, he's going to fake it to his back all the way to the right. Nope, you got a tight end. You're going to run the triple option to your left, and then you decide to keep it. I mean, that is a lot to process defensively with one of the more dynamic athletes at quarterback in America.
With everybody going one way, it became 4-on-3. It's like a Jayhawks Tar Heels game last night on a fast break.
There we go. And it's good to see Daniel Highshaw in as well for KU. Didn't know how much he would play in this game.
Kansas at 7 yards a carry right now. Daniels, all the time in the world. And out of the back, there is the back, Devin Neal. And he's able to churn forward after the catch down inside the 25.
God, this is big time. This is scheme right here. Devin Neal, you'll see it on the fake. It's really impressive. He just finds a way to slither through that defense. Here comes the fake from his quarterback, Daniels. And the defense just loses where one of the best players in America is, and he's just going to run down the sideline wide open. Lucky that play wasn't for more yards. Really well designed from Jeff Grimes.
Couple of tight ends in the game. And it is Highshaw this time, bouncing it to the sideline. And that's very near another first down. Yogi, this team is so good in the red zone. They score touchdowns almost every time they're down here. 22 touchdowns in 27 red zone trips. They've scored every red zone trip this year. This is their 28th of the season and their second of the day.
To me, that's all about execution and the veteran element. We saw the 30 upperclassmen that are on this team look no further than Jalen Daniels, just knowing where to go with the ball. And I think when you look at him, and he just plays calm, and he's not trying too hard to will this team. And here, watch, you'll see them quickly get to the line of scrimmage.
And Jalen Daniels is lined up at the bottom. So this is Wildcat direct snap to Neal. And Neal gets a block from Highshaw. A flag comes in late. The result of the play puts him down at the 1 yard line, but we'll check on the penalty.
Yeah, I think this was going to come back on I think it was a hold on that left side there. But again, how about the design of the play?
Holding number 52. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's the right tackle, Logan Brown.
They come out, they pull Logan Brown. Keep an eye on him right there. Yeah, it's that right arm. Whenever you see a defender kind of get twerked like that, even as they're going to the ground, the officials are going to call it. Easy vantage point from them. Now they're backed up in the red zone.
Instead of 1st and goal at the 1, it's 2nd and 11. Fumbled snap, picked up, steps out, cuts it loose, end zone, Graham out of bounds. Whoa, we think.
Whoa is right. I'll tell you what, we've had 2 of those now where, granted, they're out of bounds, but they were pretty long fly balls, right? That's what you say in baseball. This is impressive. Let's just go to the catch here. Nice job. Oh. Just a toe on the white, ball down, and I just love how he climbs the pocket immediately, eyes downfield, the way he goes.
Look at the jump throw on a line. Now it's 3rd down, play clock low. Daniels lofts it, wide open, Skinner again. It's an onslaught from the Jayhawks. Two wins, how?
Well, they're going to bring a little pressure. We'll see the corner on a corner blitz. Safety never gets over the top. Number 19, Tayshawn James, never gets over the top. He looks like, where's my safety? You make a mistake against this quarterback, Jalen Daniels, he's going to make you pay. He's done it all game long, does it there for 6.
Allen on for the point after. Kansas was down 7-0. Lance Leipold's team is rolling. Jalen Daniels doing it all. Iowa State defensive coordinator John Haycock, and one of the top defenses in the nation and in the league, trying to get things figured out. I mean, you look at the season average, normally allow 5 yards per attempt. Today it's 19, and their opponent today, Kansas, has already surpassed the total passing yard average that Iowa State allows. Lance Leipold told us there has been no let up. The fact that we've lost a bunch of close games, our guys have still been ready, and he was telling the truth. So what can Iowa State find on offense? He's been heated up a lot.
Yeah, well, that's where I would start, is you got to find a way to protect, because there's been a variety of times, and it's come in a variety of ways. Pressure from this Kansas defense, guy. It's come from guys off the edge. It's come from the interior. It's come from depth. And if I'm Kansas, I'm coming again. Blood in the water. Let's bring heat off the edge. Let's see if we can win just these one-on-one matchups, but also keep an eye on these inside linebackers. They love running a blitz where one goes one way, they form a little X with the other one and try to get into the backfield.
Kansas was trying to call a timeout there on defense,
prior to the
they got
prior to snap, Kansas called their first charge timeout. 30 seconds.
So 1st and 10 coming up for Iowa State. Kansas didn't like something there on defense. Tomorrow is stacked with elite women's college basketball on FS1. First, number 11 Duke meets number 18 Maryland at 1 Eastern. Then at 7, watch Hannah Hidalgo and number 6 Notre Dame take on Purdue. Tip-off starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1. The first drive for Iowa State, you thought they'd be the team that was putting up 21 points in the first half.
They have struggled since, and they even had a penalty on that initial 99-yard drive for a score, and you're thinking, okay, here comes the CFP caliber team. Since then, it has been self-inflicted. It's very unlike a Matt Campbell team. They have really hurt themselves, but they, I believe, have the character and resiliency to settle down, but they need to find a way to get Jalen Knoll back involved in this game.
There's Sama, and he's got a head of steam and a first down. Strong run from Abu Sama of 12 yards.
The second half in their most recent game was probably his most complete game of the season. Sama runs so physically imposing. You can't just tackle him with the first guy. He runs through arm tackles, and here's a little bit of tempo.
And they'll give it back to Sama. And Sama with another nice carry, tackled by DJ Warner after a pickup of 5.
They felt like they could run the ball a little bit coming into this ball game. I think just they haven't really found any sort of rhythm, and that was the #1 goal for Matt Campbell. As you see all the players looking at their wristbands. Here comes tempo again. Again, they've got a variety of different tempos. This is one where you look to your wristband, line up, and go.
Becht will keep it. It's deflected, and behind the intended receiver, Jaden Higgins. Jason Gilliam got a hand on it, and it's 3rd down.
Higgins loses his helmet, so he's going to have to come out here on this critical 3rd down. But going back to the comment from Matt Campbell, he said we have to find a little bit of a rhythm. The last couple games, we haven't dictated terms. Right here, anticipating the RPO. Again, a pressure off the edge, hands on it, and now we're at 3rd and 5.
And this Kansas crowd is getting into it. Becht, and that's complete. A big conversion, and that'll move the chains for Iowa State.
There's the freshman here, Dominic Overby. This is a nice job, man-to-man coverage against Kobe Bryant. Really talented corner, and he just wins. The patience for a young wideout against a veteran corner was really impressive. All smiles right there from Matt Campbell with his freshman wideout moving the chains.
Couple of tight ends. Carson Hansen for 2 yards.
A unique wildcat situation there on the snap. And then they go back. Again, a variety of tempos. You see them looking at their wristbands. And with all this helmet communication, wristbands have kind of something that's gone away in college football. Look at this formation here.
They shifted out of it before the last snap.
They run left here.
They stay in it this time, play action. Becht. He's got Knoll. Knoll's got the ball, and he's down to the 5. 40-yard connection.
Yeah, they might go tempo here. This is impressive. That was all on the quarterback. He audibles, sees all those bodies near the line of scrimmage. Deep play action. He had 2 fullbacks and a tailback. Throws it on the post.
Somewhere in Arrowhead Stadium, Andy Reid is going, ooh, I like that. Making a note of that.
But again, you talk about the command of Rocco Becht. He's got a 25-point checklist every Sunday that he starts with his preparation. It's all about situations, right? What are we going to do on a 3rd down? What are we going to do in this unique formation? Now, how are we going to handle the red zone and the pressures that traditionally come from Kansas defensively? And Iowa State, what do? They bring in a couple offensive linemen. Trevor Bohr, number 70, in at that extra O-lineman.
He's lined up at the bottom of the screen, yo. Trevor Bohr, 6'4", 315.
Here comes some motion, I'd imagine.
This is Bohr on the move. And Becht pops it up and wide open, but over the head of Steve-O Klotz. Oh.
And they had every chance. Kansas beat on a pop pass against Kansas State last time out. The motion comes, and it's there, and Rocco Becht rarely misses that. I wonder if it was miscommunication, because sometimes the tight end is taught just to stay vertical. He bends it in. Looked like Becht thought that he would stay straight.
9th play of the drive coming up for Iowa State. Here comes pressure. Becht flushed, and he throws that out of bounds, and it's 4th and goal.
Huge win for this Kansas defense. And again, just put it in that category, self-inflicted negatives. You had a chance for a touchdown, didn't get it the previous snap. You try the quick sprint out, nothing there initially. Trying to find something on the sideline, just ran out of room. This Kansas defense has been resilient in this ball game.
Kyle Conrady for the 22-yard attempt. He's perfect in his career from inside of 40 yards. And he drills that. Well, after 21 unanswered from Kansas, Rocco Becht hits Jalen Knoll on a big explosive. But the Kansas defense holds strong after this miss in the end zone, and the Cyclones just get 3. If you're asking why is Kansas playing at Arrowhead Stadium, it's because this is what's coming. Renderings of the to-be-revealed next year updated and renovated Memorial Stadium in Lawrence. The locker rooms getting a massive facelift. The weight room. The stadium, we toured it yesterday, is going to be incredible. And so for this year, all the league games for Kansas have played here at Arrowhead Stadium. A return for Wilson, and a good one out to about the 24. This is in fact part of 3 games in 6 days on this playing surface, because the Chiefs played here Monday night. They're going to play again here tomorrow. And it's great for the Kansas fans, and as we've seen today, plenty of Iowa State fans making the trip as well. Dylan Downing down on the field for Kansas on the return. And he gets a hand as he's able to get up and walk off. Let's take another look here, Yogi.
You see the return there. Looks like there's just a collision. A lot of times that happens here on these returns. Hope he's all right as he walked off, to your point. I think just another note in the facility, Lance Leipold was so specific about it, saying, hey, let's make sure we do the locker room and weight room first so the veterans on this team can experience something, because they were a part of this program and the excitement around this, allowing this new stadium to be rebuilt.
Jalen Daniels throws behind Luke Grimm, incomplete. How do you adjust now after Daniels and this offense have just dominated their last 3 possessions, if you're the Iowa State defense?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and this is not a high pressure defense, let's take a look at one of the very few misfirings. I like just the casual approach, and then you turn on the Jets a little bit, just missed there on the throw. But I think for Iowa State guy, I think it's all about this middle safety, Beau Freyler. You see him lined up again around 9 yards. Change that pre-snap look.
Devin Neal gets that carry 5 yards. It'll set up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and when you ever talk to any coaches who go up against this unique scheme at Iowa State that has really become a thing around the country, people study this scheme because it's had so much success. They always say the biggest challenge is you don't know where that middle safety, Beau Freyler, is going to align, and it makes it such a challenge for how to block them from an offensive line standpoint, wide receiver, or the quarterback. You don't want him to be lost in your vision, especially on a 3rd down.
3rd down and 3. This would feel like a huge win for this Cyclone defense if they could get off the field here after 3 straight big scoring drives for Kansas. 3-man pressure. Daniels all the time. And he has Skinner again down the sideline. Skinner can't be stopped today. A dominant performance from Quentin Skinner, and another huge play.
Well, when you're playing this type of defense, Beau Freyler's just playing in the middle of this defense, and it's kind of like you're playing against 10 guys sometimes, because he's not in the deep back end as a safety. There's no help over the top. Miles Purchase just gets beat on a go route. I think he's expecting a safety to be over the top. Nobody's there. See him looking back like, hey, where are you? Where's any help? No help there, and another explosive play.
62 yards on that pickup, and Kansas is right back into the red zone. Daniels gives it Neal, and he gets a couple.
We talked about the adjustments, right, that have to be made sometimes. You do it within a drive, and I think that for Kansas, they're saying, okay, Beau Freyler, you want to play a little bit of linebacker, you want to play a little spy, no problem. We'll take advantage down the field, and we'll send 4 vertical and really stress your back end. That's what they did on the explosive play. See if they could punch it in inside the 5.
Daniels keeps it, and he scores. Mr. Unstoppable today with another Kansas touchdown.
Didn't it seem like yesterday he had a little edge about him? Like, hey, people have written our team off a little bit, but look out against the ranked Iowa State program. Triple option. He and his partner, Devin Neal, a little bit of a fake. And he's taking that one all day long, and it's all smiles on that sideline.
Well, you know, he turned 22. He's a vet. He's a vet.
Yep.
Well, they've weathered a storm of a season, and now the Cyclones are trying to do the same. Jalen Daniels and Quentin Skinner just keep connecting, and Jalen Daniels looks unstoppable today. Kansas with touchdowns on its last 4 drives. And they just answered an Iowa State field goal with the Jalen Daniels touchdown run. We spent so much time talking about the Big 12 race for Iowa State. The college football playoff lost their first game last week against Texas Tech. And I know sometimes it sounds crazy when you look at a 2-win team into November and you go, well, maybe they could make a bowl. But tell me this team doesn't look like it belongs in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. Let's go back and look.
Excuse me, Yogi. Go ahead.
At this big catch. And to me, you see Beau Freyler in the middle, and also see safety number 4, Jeremiah Cooper. Freyler's going to spy the quarterback, Daniels, but he's not really doing anything on the play. He's not a deep safety. And I think Cooper's job is potentially to be that deep half safety, but he gets influenced by the receiver down the seam. Beautiful job from Jalen Daniels seeing what Freyler is doing, how the safety Cooper was attached to the wideout down the seam, and he ripped a hole shot to Skinner again for a big play.
Abu Sama has to go backwards to try and go forwards, and he never does. He gets swarmed, and another negative play created by the Kansas defense. Jeremy Robinson was all over it to start.
Well, look, you're thinking if you're Iowa State, you're like, all right, we're going to run the football. We got to slow down this pass rush, these edges. Nothing doing there, and you can't just start dropping back because this defense is coming with such creativity, guy. On the last 2 drives, they're finding ways to get into throwing lanes and getting into the backfield of Rocco Becht.
You saw Jeremy Robinson there on the bench. He created that loss, but he's also a little shaken up. So he's off the field on 2nd down. Becht hit, it's deflected off the helmet of his teammate, and it's incomplete. More pressure from the Kansas front. They've been all over Rocco Becht today. And now it's 3rd down.
Watch them just time it up with their hands up, and they don't even necessarily knock the ball. They just get a hand on him from the interior defensive line. They're getting too much pressure and push with this front 4. And I'd expect pressure from J.B. Brown right here at linebacker.
Brown creeping up. Becht throws the other way, and it's broken up by Marvin Grant. The transfer from Purdue, part of a really experienced secondary in Kansas.
Yeah, nice job there. 2 deep safeties, and it just kind of manned underneath. Grant is sitting on this route. He moves about 2 yards, just squatting on this route, not allowing anybody to get to the sticks, all over it. That was a dangerous throw from Rocco Becht, and right now, this offense does not look very confident in this first half.
One great drive and not much action since. It'll be good starting field position for Jalen Daniels, who's picked something he hasn't done today.
Well, his command to me is really what has stood out. He is throwing not with tremendous urgency, but tremendous command. And you look at the location of the ball, understanding how this defense is being deployed. He's gone against this defense a few times in his storied career. You add in the triple option, the quarterback run game, how he extends plays. And right now, Iowa State has no answer for the captain, the 5th-year quarterback, Jalen Daniels.
Started his first game against Baylor as a 17-year-old. Starting his 30th today as a 22-year-old. And he's going to give it on 1st down. And Highshaw with a great run. 1 play, 13 yards, and into Cyclone territory.
Okay, so watch Beau Freyler here. He's going to say, okay, I see run. I'm going to go get the run. You'll see him to the right of your screen. As he drives, he just gets picked up by the wide receiver. That's a beautiful job by the wideouts. You have to understand, that's Lawrence Arnold, beautiful driving, but having an eye on where that middle safety is. We talked about that's the challenge. Who's going to block them? Kansas all over it there on a 1st down run. Both
tight ends to the right for Daniels. Pumps, Sideline covered and incomplete. The coverage there on Lawrence Arnold was from Darian Porter. And it's now second down.
It's going to be interesting here if I'm Kansas. To me, because Iowa State's getting the ball to start the second half, I'm trying to have the ball last year. We often talk about the middle 8. Kansas has struggled in the middle 8. They've allowed 52 points in the last 4 minutes of the first half or the first 4 of the second. So I'm trying to work the clock here if I'm Jalon Daniels.
He's going to keep it. Daniels just sprints and slices and picks up another first down. 10 yards.
I mean, he's just so hard to tackle. The way he just can kind of push and stretch and put pressure on the edge. There was no chance right there for the edge of Iowa State, trying to string it out. He puts his right foot in the ground, just cuts right on back. He's such a dynamic athlete, and he's playing with such conviction right now.
Look at that. It's over 7 yards a carry for this Kansas offense right now. And for Daniels, a big part of that. He's got 6 carries for over 40 yards. And he'll give it to Hishaw this time. And that play gets blown up. And credit to Hishaw for finding a way to get a yard before he's finally tackled by Tayshawn James as the clock ticks toward the 2-minute timeout.
And that's going to take us here to this 2-minute timeout. See if Kansas can find success. And for Iowa State, this is a huge drive leading into the half.
2-minute stoppage here at Arrowhead. Lance Leipold said, "My guys have not given up." Lance Leipold looks like he knows what he's talking about. His Jayhawks have controlled the first half so far. 2 minutes remaining in the first half on what has been a career first half for Jalon Daniels so far.
His discernment continues to stand out as well. You know his playmaking ability, the ball placement, but it's really the decisions. We've seen at times late in games when they've been tight where he's just trying so hard to will his team. He's such an elite competitor. He's taken exactly what this unique Iowa State scheme is giving him, and he's having his way every way in the first half.
2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. And it's second down. Bobbles the snap, was able to get it back into control and pick up a first down.
I mean, right? I mean, you think you got him. You think it's a negative play. And he just has this ability, again, anytime things look a little murky, he's got such confidence in his own ability to extend the play, utilize his legs, keep his head and his eyes up looking downfield. And for a defensive coordinator, you're just constantly stressed going against this guy.
Yeah, of course you're stressed. Lance Leipold told us Jalon Daniels doesn't get stressed. He keeps his cool. He's not overly emotional. He's a great leader. And that served them well throughout the ups and downs of the season. 5-1 score losses. And also when the snap isn't played. As Hishaw gets bottled up, 2-yard loss there. And it's now second down and 12.
That's a really nice job by this Iowa State defense guy. Beau Freyler, again, the key to this defense. He decides, looks like he's playing run. All of a sudden drops in the middle of the field, really deep safety. I think Iowa State is saying we've given up way too many explosives. They do not often give up a ton of explosives. In fact, the least in the Big 12 coming into this game, they've allowed 20 yards or more. They don't want to give up any more.
Daniels on the move. And that's through the hands of Luke Grimm. Would have been tough on the sideline. And it's 3rd and 12.
You know, you can see the adjustments here from John Haycock. They start doubling receivers, utilizing Beau Freyler to double a receiver down inside the red zone, down the seam. So here we go on a 3rd down. I'm finding a creative way to get the ball to Luke Grimm, the wide receiver, the playmaker. In a pretty good game thus far. Hasn't had a drop on the season.
Kansas is inside of field goal range here on this 3rd down. 3-man pressure, but there isn't any. So Daniels takes his time, lofts it, and it's broken up. He was looking for Grimm, and Jeremiah Cooper was there to knock it away.
That's a great play from everybody involved, right? Cooper knocking the ball down. Grimm was so savvy, just trying to find a little space in the zone. There was a moment to get him the ball, but a little late from Daniels. And really nice recovery from Cooper to knock the ball away.
Tabor Allen on for the 47-yard attempt. His long on the season is 41. Out of the Graydon Addison hold, and he got it. Another good drive for Lance Leipold's group with 1 minute left here at Arrowhead. Let's check in with Mike Hill in the LA studio.
Hey, coming up on the State Farm halftime, can Georgia Tech upset undefeated Miami? 5th-ranked Texas with a statement win over Florida. And Ohio State continues to roll today against Purdue. We got the highlights and everything else for you at the half. Guy Yogi, back to you.
All right, Mike, looking forward to that. Plenty of highlights between those two, Quentin Skinner and Jalen Daniels so far in this first half. Skinner has catches of 32, 24, and 62 yards. He's probably saying I was open on that one too.
Yeah, like every one of the wideouts, right? Me included. You're always wide open, but I'll tell you what, how they have attacked this defense of Iowa State is the storyline in the first half.
Meanwhile, J.R. Singleton, an unquestioned leader of this Iowa State team, giving his defense a talking to there on the sideline. Can Iowa State make something happen here before the half? Jalen Jackson's going to go kneel that. They are going to get the ball first in the second half, but they got work to do. This week, of course, the first college football playoff rankings came out, and this is what the bracket would look like based on the first reveal, with BYU in there at number 4.
Well, we know it's going to change, right? Many times. It's going to change after today with Miami losing earlier today. But then you look at the teams that are out. The first 5 that are out, Iowa State found themselves in that list. And right now today is not helping their cause. They're going to try to find some points here before the half. See if they can double up as they get the ball to kick off the third.
Beth steps out of pressure, and he throws it behind Jaden Higgins. Clock stops at 56 seconds. Iowa State with all 3 of its timeouts.
You know, challenge right now for this Iowa State offense, guy, is for Rocco Becht. They're trying to take shots down the field, but the pocket's collapsing. And what Kansas is doing is they're dropping a lot of defenders into those intermediate holes in those zones. There's nothing doing for him underneath. Lucky he hasn't thrown a couple turnovers in this game.
Becht gets it down to Hansen, and he's going to cut it upfield, gets the first down. And so the clock stops after the 16-yard pickup while they move the chains.
And Rocco Becht is masterful in this 2-minute situation. You see him communicating easily and efficiently, barking out the protection to his offensive line. Looks like we got a timeout.
Don't forget, we just saw Mike Hill tell us what was coming up on the State Farm halftime. What's just an awesome day. You wake up today, you look at the schedule of college football. It just looks incredible. Matt Campbell trying to figure out, after using his first time out, how do we get down, score? Mentioned to get the ball
Iowa
first
State
in the second half as well.
has called their first charge timeout. 30 seconds in length. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 46 seconds, please. 46 seconds.
Big Noon was in Lubbock this morning for Colorado Texas Tech, which, by the way, if you saw the pregame, Coach Prime was fantastic.
He was in
as
prime
expected.
form.
But they're trailing right now by a couple of scores. Of course, BYU tonight against Utah, and truly throw out the records, right?
Well, I think it's a great example of what this league has been all year.
51 seconds, please. 51.
I mean, you look at the standings coming into today, they were basically upside down from what the preseason predictions were. And I think every Saturday, guys, that's why we've seen such electric games in the Big 12. Anybody can knock anybody off.
And you know who can affect the whole thing is Kansas.
Yeah.
This game today, then they play BYU and Colorado still ahead on their schedule. They'll play BYU in Provo, and then Coach Prime will be here at Arrowhead with the Buffs. After the Iowa State timeout, first down and 10. Becht, pressure. Becht, hit, Becht. Just lets it fly out of bounds, but it was Jeremy Robinson with another pressure.
I'll tell you what, you could be Pat Mahomes, Rocco Becht. If a defensive front four is getting home, you are in trouble. And that has been the story in this first half, and that is why there is some green on that jersey, because the defensive line for Kansas, we thought they were going to have to blitz a ton. They did early, guy, but they've settled down in this second quarter, not bringing a lot of pressure, just winning in the defensive front.
Quick throw to the sideline to Higgins, but he does not get out of bounds, and the clock keeps rolling. And now Iowa State will take another timeout.
Iowa State has called their second charge timeout on the clock. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 37 seconds. 37, thank you.
Yeah, to me, in these situations, guy, you really want to start working the middle of the field. I understand the timeout situation, but Rocco Becht's got such mastery around this thing. See if they think this is 4-down territory. Like, do you try to get a quick out, get a first down, and then you're moving? And if so, I'd be working in between the hashes. Benders with your tight end, your wideouts like Jalen Nolan Company, Jaden Higgins. Got to find a way to get these explosive receivers involved, I think, in the seams against this zone defense of Kansas.
One timeout for Iowa State. They need about 15 more yards to get comfortably into Kyle Conrarty's field goal range. Third and 4. Three-man rush. Backed over the middle. Right on the money. Higgins. He stays on his feet, and he gets inside the 30. 24-yard pickup. His helmet comes off. He'll have to leave.
It's the second time his helmet's come off. We got to make sure you buckle that in, man. But this is a really nice job. Keep an eye on Carson Brown, 32. He holds the zone defender. It allows the throwing lane to open up, and Higgins does the rest. So explosive yards after the catch. You're going to see Iowa State spike it right here.
And Becht will kill the clock with 27 seconds remaining in the half, and they keep that timeout.
That's a really nice job. And now it changes your mindset a little bit of you're not just playing for the field goal now. Right, you got enough time here to take a couple shots. You see coach saying, hey, be smart, let's make sure worst case scenario we come away with 3, have some momentum going into the half.
Higgins able to come back out after that spike.
I like these formations where it's 3 by 1, 3 receivers at the top, 1 at the bottom, just trying to clean up the picture here for Becht.
Pressure. So he takes off, and he goes down shy of the line to gain a pickup of 6 yards. Clock is rolling.
This will be interesting here. Do they try to run a play? It looks like they're going to here instead of spiking it. So the clock continues to go. That's 12 seconds right there.
Quick throw to the sideline and getting out of bounds. Knoll. Ooh. Playing with fire, and it worked.
Yeah, well, look, on one hand, you're saying, oh my gosh, why are you hustling the line of scrimmage and spiking the ball?
You
got to know the down and distance, number one.
But you have a timeout.
You have a timeout, and you're saving it for worst case scenario. So overall, net, really nice job in terms of handling the play clock with the plan that Matt Campbell had with the down and distance and the situation where the ball was.
They got the ball with a minute and a second. And now they've got Conrarty on for a 38-yard attempt. He has a make of 22 today. And with a little bit of a cross breeze, though the flags on the uprights look clean, Matt Campbell and his group get 3.
And I think if you're him, you're saying, okay, we got a little positive momentum here. We scored, we got the ball, let's see what we can do here. We know we are the
Big 12 title contender people thought they would be. But Iowa State did score. They got a field goal before the half. They're going to get the ball first here in this second half. Torrey Loughlin is going to return this to try and give some good starting field position to Iowa State, and that's what he does. A return of 31 yards for Rocco Becht, who at the end of the half, we saw that offense start to find some flow. They had the big drive in the first half as well.
they're going
to open the game.
Yeah, they're going to come out giving their absolute best. Really nice job on the tackle there, because I thought that one from our vantage point had a chance to go the distance, but good field position for Rocco Becht. Unlike the first drive of the game where they had to march 99 yards for a score, they get it here. They're going to go to their best play calls on this drive. They have to find a way to protect their quarterback.
He was harassed and sacked 3 times in the first half. And this Kansas defense swarms. Blake Harrell there with the tackle of Jalen Jackson, no gain.
The biggest thing, if I'm Iowa in the run game or on the offensive front, is you just have to minimize the penetration. Really nice job of Harrell there, getting across the face of the offensive lineman. They try to bring pullers, a little zone scheme, outside zone, nothing doing there. And I think at some point here for Rocco Becht, they're going to have to open it up a little bit if they can protect and get these playmakers involved.
Becht pressured, and he throws complete, snatched out of the air by Carson Brown, the walk-on who thought he might have had a game-winning touchdown last week against Texas Tech. That's his first catch of the day today.
Yeah, a little pressure, but also zone behind it. Really nice job from the walk-on. Nice play here, and again, finding the holes in the zones, guy.
Becht, soft touch to his tight end, and that's Gabe Burkle's first catch today. He is slow to rise. He got popped, a pickup of 7.
Remember, they're already thin there. Benjamin Bramer not going today at tight end. Burkle is a big part of this offense.
Had a career-high 4 catches last week in place of Bramer, who is missing his 2nd straight game with injury, though he did return to practice this week. And J.B. Brown came in to make that hit from the front with Cornell Wheeler on his back. And so with a 2nd and 3 upcoming and Burkle down, we'll step aside. Gabe Burkle injured before the stoppage. Good to see him able to jog off for Iowa State after a nice catch. So a 2nd down and 3 coming up for his offense. So many fans making about 3.5-hour drive from Ames and the surrounding area for a big opportunity here, and their offense trying to get going here. First possession of the 2nd half, a field goal before halftime for Iowa State. And pressure coming from Kansas. And Becht gets it out quickly to Jaden Higgins, but it only gets a yard. And now it's 3rd down and 2.
When you're playing zone defense like Kansas has at times in this game, you kind of want to freeze the tape a little bit after the catch and watch how many bodies go. There's 6 bodies around Higgins. No other Cyclones there to set up this 3rd and 2.
It's been a fun weekend for Kansas fans. Had an incredible game last night at Fog Allen, beating North Carolina, and now looking for a breakthrough win for its football team today. 3rd down. Hanson churning, and he gets pulled back right in the middle of the defense. Cornell Wheeler, the transfer from Michigan, and now it's 4th down and 2. Are you staying with the offense on the field here, Yogi?
They are, and they're bringing in some bigger bodies. Tyler Morrow and Trevor Bohr come in as 2 extra offensive linemen. And this is a long 2.
They've been perfect on 2nd half 4th downs this year, 7 of 7. They got to get all the way to the 40.
They got to go QB sneak, I'd imagine. They've done it so many times.
From 2 yards away, they'll hand it here. Bouncing it. Hanson, and he's stopped. He tried to get to the edge and came up a yard short. J.B. Brown, the leading tackler for this Jayhawks defense.
Well, I thought they were anticipating sneak, and J.B. Brown, he makes the adjustment, and he makes a hit. Heard throughout this stadium. Adversity for Iowa State. All right, so this is 4th and 2, and I'm thinking Rocco Becht up the middle. They've utilized him in the run game at times in short yardage. They hand it off to the outside, and J.B. Brown gets blocked by 1-2 players for Iowa State, beats both of them, keeps that outside arm free, gets a little help from his teammate Taiwan Berryhill, and what a stop. Momentum swing back to Kansas.
Are we sure these guys are 2-6 and 1-4 in league play?
They're not acting like it, and they haven't all season long, and that credit goes to the head coach and this veteran-laden group.
First drive of the second half for Kansas, and just patient and 10 yards. Devin Neal, who's had a record day, maybe 9, just short of the line to gain. And they're already in midfield.
Watch how he allows the blocks to unfold. You said patience, it's the perfect word. He understands he's got a puller come from the backside in Logan Brown. He wants to follow him. His receiver comes in and gets a block on Bo Freeler. They've done a really nice job in terms of targeting defensive linemen, linebackers, and that middle safety Freeler all game long.
Daniels flips it, and Neal gets a first down, tackled up high by Rylan Barnes. Kansas started the game with a punt, 4-play drive to open the game, and since then it's been nothing but scoring. 5 straight scoring drives, including 4 straight touchdown drives.
I think a huge part of that is the jersey of their quarterback, Jalen Daniels, the back of it, not really any grass stains, right? Unless he's wanted to dive on the grass, he has not been hit at all this game. I mean, he's done a really nice job of getting the ball out, reading coverage, dictating terms, and showcasing the command that we all knew he could have.
Here comes pressure. He hangs in and delivers a dropped pass. Oh, Leighton Cure had the chance at his first catch in 2 years since Division II football at Fort Hays State and couldn't hang on.
Oh, this was big time from the quarterback. Looks like he's going to Jared Casey on the underneath crosser. You see, watch his head to the right, and then comes on back, sets it up to your point, and oh, it just doesn't look it all the way in. And that would have been another explosive play for this offense.
So now second down, and it's back to Neal, and he just keeps rolling forward. What a day today for Neal, but talking to him yesterday was fun to talk to him after the team's walkthrough. You know, he went to Lawrence High School, just a mile away from Allen Fieldhouse. He said, I'm a huge basketball fan. His best friend from Lawrence High School is Zeke Mayo. And he said, I'm going to be in the hotel room Friday night, and I'm going to be yelling at the TV. I'm a huge basketball fan. Well, Zeke Mayo, his best friend, had a career-high 21 points, a game-high 21 points against North Carolina in the win last night. So much pride in Lawrence for basketball, and of course Devin Neal has brought so much pride for football in his time.
And I would imagine Zeke Mayo is doing the same exact thing in his apartment right now. I mean, another patient run. This offensive line is having their way, moving the line of scrimmage, and the balance from the record-setting back is just so impressive. You know, again, another thing he said to us yesterday was not only the pride that he had in the Chesty Lions, which is the nickname of Lawrence High School, but it was also just the pride in this program and why, again, he came back to leave a legacy here with his fellow teammates.
Daniels all the time and just out of the reach of Skinner. Crowd wants a penalty. He had Bo Freeler on him. They've been a big play connection today. He's had 3 explosive catches.
Yeah, and his feet just kind of get tangled up with the DB here. You'll see Skinner right there in the slot, and he's just going to run through these zones of Iowa State's zone defense, and you'll see they just kind of click heels. Good non-call there from the officials. Frustration there from the head coach, seeing the passion.
And now it's 2nd and 10. Daniel Highshaw remains in the game, but Daniels is going to throw, and there is Grimm along the sideline, tied up by Jeremiah Cooper, and then some help to bring him down. A flag does come in on the play.
So the helmet come off of Logan Brown, the right tackle. Looked like something happened on that side of the field.
Mike Vandervelde,
ineligible player downfield, number 77. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's Bryce Cabledew, the left tackle, who's starting his 47th career game today. Just the third penalty today for Kansas. Daniels, right from the Chiefs logo, looking to make some magic. And he'll get back near the line of scrimmage.
He was doing his Mahomes impersonation, right? He's kind of sitting back there. He was ready to rip one, but there was nothing doing. And I'll tell you what, it's a nice job by him of not trying to force it, right? The momentum is in his team's way right now. You see he wants to rip it right there to one of his top targets on the crossing route. Good job by not throwing it. Really nice coverage, staying on top. Again, this defense of Iowa State's given up a lot of explosives, but it's predicated on playing a top-down style of defense, having a roof over the top of any of those deep shots. Haven't done it perfectly today, but a nice job on that snap.
3rd down and 12. Daniels. What does he want to do? He wants to connect with Skinner again. What a 1-2 punch those two have been. A 17-yard reception.
Well, Iowa State's not a heavy pressure team. They might start thinking about bringing a little blitz because he is cooking steaks back there. Watch Daniels. Nobody near him. Staying within the integrity of the pocket and then just rips it to Skinner. And these receivers, guys, are running through the zones. And when wideouts have that type of freedom and you have that much time as a quarterback, it's only going to lead to explosive plays.
Daniels shifts out, and so the Wildcats snap directly to Devin Neal. And that gets no gain. That catch, Yogi, for Quentin Skinner of 17 yards is his shortest catch today. He's got 4. And a player down for Kansas is Cabledew, the left tackle.
And this is a offense for Kansas. You want to talk about explosive plays? They haven't had a lot this season. 10th in the Big 12 this year in big plays, chunk plays down the field for 20 or more. Today they are having success when it comes to big plays down the field.
32, 24, 62, and 17. Those are the yardages of the 4 catches for Quentin Skinner so far today. I mean, this is without a doubt, this is the game that everybody thought they'd see on a weekly basis from this Kansas team. Preseason, a top 25 team. I mean, they were top 20 week 2 going to Illinois. As Cabledew remains down. Over 400 yards of offense today. He'll get a little help to get to his feet. And this is a tough thing to see given how much he means to this program and this offense.
Yeah, a true leader within that facility. Today's his 48th start of his career. He's done so many things. Played on the right side of the offensive line, move over to left tackle. Really a unique athlete too. Hooper in high school, played baseball, and really one of those veterans that we talked about earlier in the game that has allowed this team to stay so positive amid a challenging stretch this season.
And really in the bigger picture too, Yogi, right? Built this Kansas program into what it's become in the last 3 years. What an athletic play from Neal. A wild pitch, and they're able to pick up 7 yards. There's a lot of trust between Jalen Daniels.
You think they've done
and
this
Devin Neal
a few times, man? I mean, if you were going to criticize anything from Daniels, this would be, hey, man, not a great pitch. You could do a little better. But you're okay. You got number 4 there. Just one-handed, casual, grab it, put it into his right arm to have a little bit of a weapon as a stiff arm, and away he goes.
Play of the drive. Back to the ground and back into the end zone where he belongs. Devin Neal on a record-setting day. His 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
How about Bryce Foster, the center? Keep your eye on him. As this play develops, he's going to step to his left and just get across the face and just not stop. And the patience from Neal allows his block from his tight end and that backup left tackle, Calvin Clements, to send him into the end zone once again. The record books continue to go his way.
It's the rushing record and the touchdown record he keeps adding to. Just an incredible career for an incredible player. Lawrence born and Lawrence bred, and the pride of Kansas football right there. Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator for Kansas in his first year here with this offense, taking over for Andy Koltnicki, and what a job he's done, right? We've seen him in the past at Baylor. We saw him with Zach Wilson at BYU. And it's certainly an adjustment early in the year, battling the injuries, some of the turnovers. But this team today, this is certainly what I think he imagined, what they all imagined it would look like.
He said, look, it's just close, right? We just got to keep working. He said, nobody is not brought their best. And they knew against this scheme it would be a challenge. He's gone up against defensive coordinator John Haycock a few times in his career at different stops. And right now, tell you what, this Kansas offense with his leadership did a nice job against this unique defensive scheme.
And how about some love for the offensive linemen that are out there calling plays? His offensive line coach when he was a player at UTEP was none other than Andy Reid.
I think he's got the keys to this building, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And of course, we talked to him. We say, we know Andy Reid likes taking plays from other areas, as all coaches do, college, maybe even high school. He said, oh, we've taken a few Chiefs plays as well. Here's Rocco Becht taking a shot. And on the money to Jalen Knoll, who stumbles down inside of the 30-yard line. Iowa State needed that.
Guy, there's only one place to put this football. Little play action. He's looking there the whole time. Double coverage. He says, I'm going to my #1 target in Jalen Knoll. Baller. Big play.
What a connection. And now Becht keeping it. And he gets tackled after a gain of 2 yards. Let's take a look at this dime from Rocco Becht again.
This is impressive. I mean, he is looking his way the entirety of the time. Secondary's eyes are the eyes are facing the receiver, back to the quarterback. They have no idea where the ball is. Beautifully placed. That's how you get a little energy on that sideline.
Jalen Knoll showing up today. 6 catches for 136 yards for the star receiver from Kansas City, back in his hometown where his favorite team plays, trying to make some comeback magic here. And that is the tight end, Gabe Burkle. Good to see him back on the field. Had to leave injured earlier, and that's a first down.
A really nice job from Taylor Mauser, the offensive coordinator. They flood the left side of the field with 3 eligible receivers, and they sneak out the tight end as they move the sticks. And this is the thing, Guy. I mean, all game long, they just haven't really been ahead of the sticks.
Yeah.
They are here. They have to make sure they protect and do not allow pressure from Kansas.
On first down, Abu Sama getting forced to bounce it outside, and he picks up 4 yards before he's upended. And now pushing and shoving after the play.
Sama actually went to the ground.
You think he stayed up?
I think everybody was competing as though he was standing up. We'll take a look.
He got airborne and maybe landed on everybody.
Looks a little helicopter-ish, but yeah, kind of stays up there. I mean, the athleticism for both backs in this game. Let's take another look here.
And it's not that he lands on somebody. He just, I think his knee might
his right knee hit the ground,
but he bounced right back up. Wow.
Iowa State, in zero fashion, is saying, all right, this one's over.
Carson Hansen breaks 1 tackle and 2, and he scores a touchdown. Cyclones hanging around. And that was a quick drive.
How about the effort? Keep an eye on Gabe Burkle right there, the tight end playing a little fullback. He's going to be the lead blocker. They're also going to get 2 pullers. And then the effort from Hansen following his blockers and just doing everything he can to get in the end zone. The speed he ran with and the power he ran with, to me, we haven't seen that since the early drives in this game when he was having a lot of success running the rock.
And now the offense stays out to go for 2.
Top of the screen in the slot. You know that man, Jalen Knoll.
And now a flag.
Can't stop and start like that guy. That's why the flag is out.
False start, number 32, offense. 5-yard penalty, try for point.
Another self-inflicted negative for this team. There's just been too many of them, and that's been the story of the game for Iowa State to a large degree, especially in offense.
And so Conradi on for the point after. 3rd false start of the day for Iowa State. 2nd game in a row. They've committed a ton of penalties. 6 today, 8 last week. But a quick scoring drive for Iowa State. Becht and Knoll set it up, and Carson Hansen knocked it in. Jalen Knoll having his typical big day, a 44-yard catch. He's over 135 receiving yards today to set up a touchdown. It's what Iowa State needed. 2 minutes and 21 seconds scoring drive. They're trying to dig out of this hole right now.
And they need their defense now to rise up and give them the ball back. Because if you're Kansas and you're Lance Leipold, you're starting to calculate time, score, possessions. You're going to run the football. You want to stay efficient ahead of the sticks. But I'd imagine Kansas here understands what this drive could do offensively. For Iowa State, they got to find a way to get them off the field.
Trevor Wilson will let that fly, and so the Kansas offense coming back out, and gives us a moment to reflect on something special at Iowa State. J.R. Singleton wears the number 58 to honor the late assistant coach at Iowa State, Curtis Bray, who died suddenly of a pulmonary embolism back in 2014. That was before Matt Campbell was the head coach, but when he came in, some of the players and coaches that knew Curtis Bray said, we have to do something to honor this man. He meant so much to this program, and so every year they give that number to a player that represents what Curtis Bray represented, and it's the 2nd year in a row that J.R. Singleton is wearing it for the Cyclones. This drive for Kansas begins with Daniel Hishaw picking up 8 yards. I know it means a lot. You were coached by Curtis Bray at Pitt. To see him honored that way at Iowa State.
Yeah, and he was such a dynamic man as well. Such a special family. His wife Heather, his kids Sydney and Colden. He came from Pitt to Iowa State with Paul Rhodes, former head coach at Iowa State. And this was a special player as well who wore 58. He wore 58 at Pitt, where he was just a dynamic player on the defensive front. He played a ton of sports coming out of high school. Could have gone Ivy League. Wanted to play major college football, represent his hometown with the Pitt Panthers.
Daniels lofts it for Grimm to the sideline, and that's knocked away.
And I think the thing that really has stood out is that when Matt Campbell became the head coach, he got to know this family, and there you see Heather and Sydney and Colden alongside
Eli Rashid.
Coach, yep, Eli Rashid. But he said, look, we wanted to make sure that his legacy continues to be celebrated. He had young kids at the time when Matt Campbell got the job, so not only did they continue to celebrate Curtis Bray guy, but what I love about it is there's this Bray Memorial Scholarship. Not only does it go to a player on the team, you referenced J.R. Singleton, but it's also awarded to a student on campus. This year it's Macy Wilkie, who's a PR, public relations major from Clear Lake, Iowa, and I just think it's a really cool element, very reflective of who Curtis Bray was, the man, the father, the husband, and I was honored to be coached by him. Had an infectious energy, and I know Ames, Iowa, and this football program has felt that as well, and I love they continue to celebrate his life and the impact he had.
What kind of person you must be to have that number 2 years in a row. Everything you could want somebody to be. That's what Matt Campbell said he'd heard that Curtis Bray was, and that's what he said J.R. Singleton is. And it's incredible, right? You think about what Campbell has done. His team's got an 18-point deficit right now. But what they did a couple of years ago, they go to the Fiesta, they come back. They go through a year kind of similar to the one Kansas is going through now. They had 6 one-score losses. They had a lot of hype. They had a lot of attention. And you wonder, you know, people go, okay, well, maybe they've reached the ceiling at Iowa State. And yet here they are back again this year, although their score is not what they want, having another incredible year in a 7-0 start. 2nd down and 5 here for Kansas. The defense needs that stop, but they're going to get it on this possession, or this throw at least to Neal. I didn't think, but I was wrong, because the defense rallied. And they stopped that man who hasn't been stopped today.
He did a nice job rallying the football, and I think to your point on Matt Campbell, like, he's built such a strong culture there that his team is by zero chance are they going to lay down. They're going to keep competing. That's what he is built upon as a player, as a young coach, and now as a veteran coach, a guy who loves this institution and everything that Iowa State stands for. Number one, they got an optimistic mindset. He said that has been our mindset coming off a loss. They need to find a way to get off the field right here.
They've allowed 4 straight 3rd down conversions. 3rd and 5. Sideline first catch of the day for Jared Casey, and is saving it for a 1st down.
Really nice route, and that is all timing from quarterback Jalon Daniels. A simple, looks like he's going to run the seam, then it's the out route up against a safety and Tayshawn James, and as he breaks, the ball is in the air. Really impressive. That's one of those little things. That's the discernment that you need at the quarterback position. Nice job on a 3rd down conversion from Daniels as the clock continues to tick, tick, tick.
Daniels stepped up and over the middle, caught Torrey Lachlan, and he's down to the 20. You give this guy time as he's gotten today, and he is taking advantage.
Watch Lachlan. He'll be right to the left of your screen. He'll be sitting right there. Daniel sees him the whole time, and he's kind of jumping up and down saying, I'm open, I'm open. And again, these receivers have done such a disciplined job finding zones, running through zones, or sitting in the zone. Another explosive play as this crowd rises to their feet as the 3rd quarter comes to a close.
A season-high passing performance for Jalon Daniels. Can Kansas finish it off? 4th quarter's ahead. Wearing the All Blacks today here at Arrowhead Stadium. And it's been, with the exception of the first drive, really an extremely clean performance for this Kansas team today.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah, and it's also a clean jersey on quarterback Jalon Daniels. Iowa State has not been able to get into the backfield. They're not a high-pressure team, but he has sat back there and with great discernment made impressive decisions.
4th quarter starts with a handoff to Daniel Highshaw, and he gets a couple of yards, and the ball is out, says Iowa State. Cyclones say we got it. Waiting on the officials. Let's see.
Ruling on the field is that the forward progress was stopped. It'll be 2nd down.
Joey Peterson came out of the pile with it for the Cyclones.
Let's take a look here. Quick handoff. Where does the ball come out or get ripped out?
Yeah, good luck.
Angle, yeah.
Maybe he was getting pulled there at the very end. Instead, the ball stays with Kansas, and Highshaw finds his way forward. bring up third down and short. 6-yard pickup there.
And that's the thing that Iowa State needs right here on this drive. Find a way for a turnover, right? Your coach and punch the ball out. We've seen that how many times? Ball ripped out. Saw it last night on Fox, UCLA game against Iowa, ripping the ball out of a ball carrier, arms in real time. Try to find a turnover here. And on the other side, you're saying 2 hands on the ball. No matter what, we're coming away with points.
No turnovers in this game from either team. High shot. Runs right into the pile, and this is going to be short by a short yard, and it's 4th down. And Iowa State, I thought for a second they were pointing again, Yogi, but they're just saying fist in the air, 4th down, and here comes
short of the line to gain. It's 4th down.
Yeah, and that's a nice hold to Matt Campbell's point of clapping and being enthusiastic with his team coming off the sideline. See now here, if you can get a little bit of penetration, swinging the momentum of this thing real quick with 13 minutes left in the ballgame.
30-yard attempt here for Tabor Allen, who made from 47 earlier today. Luke Hosford, the snap. And that is wide right. So that's exactly what Matt Campbell needed. A defensive stand keeps it at 18. Can Iowa State's offense capitalize on a slowly opening door? It's a primetime Big Ten showdown on Fox College Football Friday as UCLA faces the noise and rowdy environment at Washington. The action kicks off under the lights Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox. UCLA's liking Friday night right now. What they did against Iowa last night at home.
Well, it's a great win in November. You got stakes in these games like Iowa State and KU do right here.
Rocco Beck looking for Knoll. And good coverage that time from Caleb Purdy. And it's 2nd down.
Okay, so let's just play quarterback here. You're Rocco Beck. You love this environment. You have this opportunity here. You know time, you know the score, and here comes the tempo, right? Once they find a completion, if they do on this next play, guy, this offense is going to be going, and it's going to be on him to make sure he communicates protection, route, audible, but do it extremely efficiently because every second matters.
Beck on the move. Now sets up, and that's broken up. Incomplete. The coverage from Mello Dotson. You mentioned it at the top, Yogi. Dotson and Kobe Bryant been with this program 4 years and have become 2 of the most established corners in the country.
Well, that's a really nice job. They move the pocket for Rocco Beck, and then he gets the ball out on time, but Dotson is all over it. Really nice job with that right arm. Never pulls on the receiver. Jaden Higgins, and here we go on a 3rd down. Empty set.
They need 10. Here comes pressure. Beck stands in and completes it. 1st down, Jaden Higgins. Clutch when they needed it.
Clutch. How about big time from this quarterback? He throws the ball before Higgins is even remotely out of his break. This is awesome from the quarterback. Watch Beck, ball out, and then boom, it's right there, and he does a nice job, guy, of putting a little air on that ball to make sure he's not throwing a heater there. Perfect location, 1st down.
And that's caught by Eli Green, a pickup of 5. And Iowa State's going to keep with a little tempo, as you would expect.
Oh, here comes, they're going to change personnels as they look at the wristband, which of course allows Kansas to change personnels, which takes off a couple extra seconds because the officials make sure that both teams have ample time. Kansas running guys off late, usually what happens when you're looking at a game and the situation right here. Nice job by them trying to make sure as many seconds tick off as possible.
Beck gets it out fast, and that's Steve-O Klotz, and he's down the seam and deep into Kansas territory.
A little RPO action. Klotz is wide open down the seam, and that was a perfectly located ball so he can continue to run didn't have to slow down one drop.
28 yards on that connection. Becht just checks it down to Jackson. Lot of space for his running back. He cuts it back and scores a touchdown. A flag comes in. And we'll have to check. The result of the play was a score, but let's see.
I wonder if that was a hold on Overby on the outside at wide receiver. The official who threw the flag was staring right at that wide out in man-to-man coverage. Man coverage allowed the big play to happen from Jackson. Let's see what they go with here. And if it's against Iowa State, it'd be another unforced error. If it's against KU, big momentum for the Cyclones.
Just such a patient throw for Becht. It looked like pressure was coming, and he just checked it down to Jalen Jackson.
He's got a great feel for the game.
Rocco Becht?
Yeah. I mean,
after the play is over, sideline interference on Kansas's bench. That penalty will be enforced. Half the distance to the goal line. Ruling on the field was a touchdown.
How about that?
Jalen Jackson with a huge 27-yard run.
Great job on the check down. You'll see the patience. Again, the subtle movement. Look at that arm angle right there, little sidearm action. And Jackson does the rest. And the sideline allows now Iowa State better field position here. Half the distance to the goal for the two-point try.
Carson Hansen lines up beside Becht. And he's going to lead block. Rocco Becht is in for the two-point conversion. And it's a 10-point game.
Character of this team continues to show up. You're thinking maybe they're going to know on that two-point play. They don't. How about first a little check down sidearm? Pat Mahomes be fired up for that in his hometown here. And then they go two-point play. You're thinking, is it going to go to Knoll across the field? Nah, it's going to Becht. 2 points, 10 points.
What was a 25-point deficit is now down to 10 after the dynamic catch and run from Jalen Jackson. So they've had two scoring drives of under 3 minutes. Touchdown drives of under 3 minutes back-to-back for Iowa State. It came after the missed field goal from Kansas as Jace Gilbert sends that away to Trevor Wilson. And if fair catches, it'll come out to the 25. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but his are the only ones that matter. Colin Cowherd is the most interesting man in sports. Don't miss The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern, only on FS1. So what's the opinion on how you manage this if you're Kansas? You've been explosive throwing the ball. You certainly can run the ball. You've done that today.
Well, I think you got to trust these two guys in the backfield, Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal. You know you got explosive playmakers, but I keep the ball in these guys' hands. There you go, QB run.
Jalen Daniels spins out. Jalen Daniels still moving, getting pulled forward for a first down.
I mean, has he had a negative play all day long? Like, I don't think so. And there was a little bit of grabbing there at the bottom. Daniels comes up a little fired up. Got to be careful. You don't want any extracurricular. I love the QB lead. You'll see at the bottom of the pile as he gets tackled on his arm there. Right there, it's 52. Joey Peterson just kind of getting dragged. And everybody's up there, chippy as it ends.
And you see 75 Calvin Clements. Remember, he's in the game. Bryce Cabledew, who started nearly 50 straight games for Kansas, left with an injury earlier. So on first down to the sideline to Grimm. would be one of those games. Still a lot of football left here, Yogi, but you look up and you go, Jalon Daniels, 11 of 21. This would be a, hey, don't box score scout the performance today, right?
Well, to the point of negative plays, he's had one all day long with the ball in his hands, and it was on the very first drive of the game. So he's done a nice job. You see there we go, quickly to the line of scrimmage.
And out of the Wildcat to Neal, and he gets the first down. The running back, Devin Neal.
I mean, just start charting it now. It's going to go through 6 and 4. I mean, just keep trading off. If in a perfect world, Kansas is going to run the football to end this game. I know there's a ton of time left, but that is the name of the game. And for Iowa State, again, they're not a high-pressure team. But do you try to bring a little bit of pressure? It's not like they haven't done it all season. Just to penetrate a little bit in the backfield as you, again, go to this formation here with Devin Neal in this T formation in the backfield.
Daniels fakes it to Neal, and now he cuts it up and gets tripped up, and a pickup of 6 yards.
I mean, a lot of play callers, like Jeff Grimes, they've got a section of the call sheet that's FTS, feed the studs. They just continue to do that. Jalon Daniels putting his left foot in the ground, and this is a guy who's only played against Iowa State twice in his career. Didn't even throw a touchdown pass against Iowa State in his career up until today, and he is having a whale of a game. And 2.5 minutes, it just came off the clock, and only 2 men have touched the ball.
Neal and Daniels. And Daniels will pitch it. This is Neal. He cuts it up near, should be a first down, maybe just short. But now he's over 100 yards today. And he just set another school record. Look at what he's done.
Yeah, he's done it every which way. All-time leading rusher at this university. Touchdown, all-time leading rusher when it comes to running touchdowns. And he's just been that Lawrence native that he dreamt of becoming. I don't even know if his dreams were this big when he came out of high school.
Daniels airs it out. Skinner again, and it's broken up by Jeremiah Cooper. Cooper had a chance at another interception.
Look, I'll tell you what, I don't mind the momentum play call from Jeff Grimes, just trying to take a shot. But if you're Iowa State, this might have been your last shot of getting the ball back and slowing this Kansas offense down, because the clock, again, I get an incompletion, it stops, but I'd imagine they'll run it here on a 2nd and 10.
This is Daniels, and he'll give it to Neal again. Well, this is Highshaw instead. Neal getting arrested, a flag comes in the backfield. Daniels took a shot, and we'll check on the penalty.
Yeah, that's an easy call when he pitched it. There was contact there. I thought the defender was trying to hold up. Daniels ended up going down. See what they decide here as they're talking it through.
What?
Personal foul, targeting, number 44, defense. Previous play is under further review.
That's Jacob Ellis, who's 44 for Iowa State.
Yeah, look, my understanding of this is when you're running the option and you pitch it, you're not defenseless. It's considered a simulated runner.
So we're looking for crown of the helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
By the defender Ellis. Remember, if he's defenseless, it's forcible contact to the head or neck area. If he's not, and we'll have to look here, then you're looking at crown of the helmet. And, you know, we'll have to see, Yogi, too, like how far after the ball is gone.
Let's keep an eye on it here. Yeah, to me, that's not targeting.
Because he's not defenseless.
When you're running down the line, when you pitch it, it's not defenseless to my understanding. You're considered a simulated runner. Unless it's dramatically late. I didn't think it was dramatically late. Dean, what do you think?
You're exactly right in terms of the posture. That option quarterback is not considered defenseless because that defender, that's a runner coming at him, has to be able to make a tackle. Now, if he hits him with the crown, that applies to any player. That's going to be the key. Did he lower his head and hit him with the crown? It would have to be that for it to be targeting. This will be a good look. Does look like he lowers his head. If it's the top of the helmet, that's going to be targeting for crown, but defenseless player protection is not part of this.
That's a great explanation, Dean. Thank you.
It's that immediately lowering of the head right there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things the replay officials are looking at here, Ellis, is he looking down when he contacts? The crown is just the top, 6 inches around the top of the helmet. And I know we're seeing the head or neck area contact there. To your point and to Dean Blandino's point, that's not the part of targeting. That's not.
Right.
There's two different types, right? And that's not the one we're looking at. If you've got that crown of the helmet making forcible contact anywhere on the body, then it is
After review,
targeting.
there is no foul for targeting with the crown of the helmet. It'll be third down.
Let's bring Dean back in here. Dean, what do you think there?
So in replay, they've got to confirm all the elements. There's no stands option here. It either is or it isn't, and obviously they felt they just couldn't confirm crown. This is a good look. He certainly lowers his head. You can make a case that that's the top of the helmet. They obviously felt they couldn't get to 100%, and they took it off.
All right. Thank you, Dean.
Really good description, and there's not an individual in this stadium who's sitting down right now on this third down.
3rd and 6. Plenty of time on the play clock for Daniels. Here comes pressure. He heaves it, looking for Graham and nobody home. And the defense comes up with a big stand for the Cyclones. And who else but J.R. Singleton on the pressure.
Really nice job by this captain, rocking number 58. Finally gets some pressure in the backfield. Unblocked. Neal doesn't pick him up. Elevates. He's excited. And Jalen Daniels misses for one of the very few times tonight on a third down.
And so the punt team on, Damon Graves. To send it away to Jalen Knoll. He's had a great game as a receiver today. This is sky high. And it'll go out of bounds. Lands out by the 8. We'll see where they mark this. So a long field ahead, out at the 9. Jalen Daniels and the Kansas offense stalls out. Can his counterpart, Rocco Becht, make him pay? Fox Sports proudly salutes our nation's veterans and the organizations that serve them every day. Our veterans deserve to live with dignity and independence, not on the streets. That is why we are making camo our cause this Veterans Day in support of the Honor U.S. Vets campaign. Post wearing camo on social with hashtag Honor U.S. Vets and visit go.fox/US Vets to learn more about how you can help end veteran homelessness. Iowa State takes over after the punt, and Abu Sama gets swarmed at the line of scrimmage. Iowa State needs to keep doing, Yogi, what they've done. Look at the last 2 drives for the Cyclones. They've been so efficient with the clock, a combined 4 minutes and 9 seconds for those 2 scoring drives.
Yeah, and Rocco Becht has not been holding on to the ball longer than 2.5 seconds on any one of those plays. He's got to continue to get the ball out. Again, they cannot have any self-inflicted negatives with the shifts of these 2 tight ends right now. Strength of the defense changes.
Becht looking to throw, and it's intercepted. Mello Dotson with the pick, and he takes it all the way back. The Kansas Jayhawks have been heartbroken so many times this year, and Mello Dotson just delivered the heartbreaker. Tabor Allen with the point after. First turnover of the game, and it hurts.
Yes, it does. A learning moment indeed for that young quarterback. But what a play by the veteran corner. He's trying to throw the in-breaking post route to Higgins, and Dotson's all over it. I thought he should have thrown it to Knoll on the corner route. He went top to bottom. He thought he could find the tight window, force the throw.
Is now wearing number 1.
And you cannot miss like that against Mello Dotson. He makes you pay. He's already had the KU record for pick sixes. Add to that record book, man.
Just as it felt like Iowa State was ready to mount a comeback, trailed by as many as 25, got it down to 10. And now under 6 minutes remaining. And Kansas, you know, their offense had kind of been the opposite of what Iowa State. Iowa State had 2 straight scoring drives. Kansas's offense had failed to score twice after 5 straight scoring drives of their own. And Mello Dotson brought Arrowhead Stadium back to life. Jackson and Neal this. Now let's go back and look at the pick again, Yogi.
Yeah, and it's going to be frustrating when Rocco Beck goes back and looks at it as well. He's going to end up rolling to his right. Jalen Knoll is going to be a receiver that I think kind of comes open on a corner route. You'll see him in the slot. He's going to keep going, and it's like he forces that in-breaking route. Either way, not a lot open there for Rocco Beck. Forced the ball. And unfortunately for him, and I think really for this Iowa State offense, guy, they've had so many unforced errors in this game. They'll go back and look at it as he climbs the pocket here, utilizing his legs. But they're going to go back and look at this tape. It's like, God, we've had our chances, man. They had opportunities. And that last one, and I think ultimately, still 5.5 left in the ball game, but amid some craziness, if that doesn't happen, I think they're really going to look back to, God, we had so many opportunities to get back into this ball game.
Think about how good they looked on the opening drive too. Iowa State.
You're thinking, here comes the CFP team.
They started on the 1-yard line. Here's Higgins, and he can't make what would have been a spectacular catch. Taylor Davis in coverage there. Yeah, they look ready to roll. Right, they got all their fans made the trip down. Great crowd for them to support them today. They made the trip down from the south. The Kansas fans, if you're coming from Lawrence, you're driving east here to Missouri. So many Kansas fans here in Kansas City. Everybody Chiefs fans, basically, it feels like, out in the parking lot. But when we drove in, you'll get Iowa State flags everywhere out in the tailgating area. Backed, throws this one away. He's out of the pocket, got it back to the line of scrimmage. Blake Harold with the pressure there. Big 12 standings coming into the day, and we talked about it at the top of the show with BYU at 5-0 playing Utah tonight. Iowa State and Colorado both at 4-1. The playoffs were already kind of underway in the Big 12. Colorado is leading Texas Tech right now. And BYU yet to play. 3rd down. Becht can't pull away, and he's brought down again. Caleb Taylor with the sack. It's the 3rd of the day for the Jayhawks defense.
Look, it's easy to give the game ball to the offensive playmakers for KU, but I'm going to this defensive front guy. Watch the interior defensive linemen utilizing their hands fully extended, eyes in the backfield, shed the block, and get to Rocco Becht. Caleb Taylor's done it, Dean Miller's done it, DJ Withers. I mean, so many guys in this cast of defensive linemen have had their way today, and they have just found ways to get into the backfield of Iowa State far too often.
Short punt here will take an Iowa State bounce. An aggressive and dangerous recovery made by Trevor Wilson. 52-yard punt. Devin Neal has had a highlight reel type of day. He set a record last week, and he has set 3 this week. Career rushing yards, check. #1 in the Kansas record books. He got that on the first carry of the day. Career rushing touchdowns, check. And then also his 18th 100-yard game is a school record.
40th start. You referenced Lawrence High School, the Chesty Lions. He's so proud to be a part of not only Kansas football, but that community. And just imagine growing up there. You can hear the echoes of that stadium as a child. And now he is going to be the one that young kids talk about and say, hey, I'm Devin Neal in the backyard, trying to be like number 4.
Yeah. Did you ever get an explanation from him on what a Chesty Lion is?
No, I did not.
The logo is something.
Yeah. But we drove by the high school last night. We had to just check it out, and it looks like a very confident mascot, that's for sure.
Well, and it's an easy award, right? The hardest working player, Devin Neal, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
I think what's great is that in the world of college football, it's such a transient element, and every coach you talk to has a version of this line, which is we want to be transformational, not transactional. And he had an opportunity last year to find his way to the National Football League and play on a Sunday in a stadium like this. Lance Leipold and his family sat down and said, look, yes, you're right. That is there for you. But if you come back, you'll get your degree. If you come back, you could be a legend here. If you come back, it'll be forever cemented. Your legacy, and that this new stadium and facility was built when you were in the shadows of it at the practice field, in the weight room, in this new locker room. And as the head coach told us in advance of the game, he said this young man is going to be an ambassador for life for Kansas athletics.
He said it's not a joke. We got to give him that job ASAP.
Both of them, he and Jalen Daniels. But I mean, just amazing, man.
Well, he did. Lance Leipold joked. He said, you know, maybe I joked with Neal, like maybe we redshirt you so you can play in the new stadium next year. That's not going to happen. But their season is not limited to what is on the schedule. They could still go earn themselves a chance at a bowl. Now it's going to be tough, but they beat a ranked team today. They'll have ranked BYU, ranked Colorado ahead, and then they'll finish at Baylor. But what a spectacular finish it could be for this program with so much heartbreak early. 5 losses by 1 score or less. Their average margin of defeat coming into this game today was 5 points. Here's Daniels. This is not what they want to do, and Grimm is able to go pick it up. Daniels put that one on the turf, and Grimm recovered it.
I think the biggest thing, guy, is that it's so hard to maximize your potential as a team. And it's so hard to not lose faith when it's not going well, when the expectations were so high.
Of the second half.
And credit this locker room. Credit this team for in all of these close losses, all of the challenging moments. Look at this, 5 blown 4-quarter leads, most in FBS, 4 in the final 2 minutes. They've been outscored dramatically in the final 2 minutes. I mean, this has been razor thin. And we've all been around teams, guy, where this happens, and it's easy to hang your head and be like, ah, man, season's over, I can't believe it. They haven't. I wouldn't be shocked if they go on a run here. They go into BYU, Colorado, Baylor. Like, remember, they came in, as Matt Campbell told us this week, as the most talented team in the league returning. That was the head coach on the opposite sideline saying that about Lance Leipold's squad. They got a shot, and they know they need that. That sense of urgency, I'd imagine, will be there the moment they hit this locker room, celebrate, and then move on to the next one.
Shedeur Sanders versus Jalen Daniels.
I'm in.
Damon Graves on to punt it away. Back deep again is Jalen Knoll. Iowa State has 1 timeout. There's 2 here on defense. And they'll get good starting field position. They'll be in Kansas territory. Here with 3:23 remaining. Let's see where they mark this ball. All the way at the 42. That's a punt of 27 yards. As Rocco Becht is coming back out.
The big part right now for Rocco Becht is we know what the score is, we know what the time is. You don't want to force too many balls. You're going to see Kansas play a ton of zone coverage here, guy. You got to just take the little dink and dunk, see if you can find a seam ball. See if you can move the ball here a little bit. How many times have we saw it earlier with Jalen Jackson, the yards after the catch. Sometimes the best completion is a check down.
First and 10 Iowa State at the Kansas 42.
Becht to the sideline, and that is Jaden Higgins getting out of bounds. Yogi, don't look now, but Rocco Becht has 352 passing yards today.
First down, Iowa State.
I think when he's gotten the ball out, right, if you clocked it with a stopwatch, when it's like 2.2 or less, he's having success. The problem was early in the game, outside that first drive, there's players were in his lap. They had too many self-inflicted, again, negatives with the false starts and the penalties.
That is snatched by Jalen Knoll and another first down. Clock will stop while they set the chains.
And he's made some impressive throws like these last 2. He's been a fun guy to prepare for in this ball game as they go with this hurry up.
Becht not wasting any time to the end zone, and there is Knoll for the touchdown. Boom, boom, boom. And you see when it's at its best how quickly the Cyclones can move.
Well, how about that throw right in front of Taiwan Berryhill? I mean, he beats him with the throw, and again, throwing the ball before the wideout, he's even out of the break. Watch, ball is out right in front of the defender. Jalen Knoll, he having a heck of a game as well.
This was set up by that 27-yard punt. They got the ball on the 42. 3 quick plays, and now they'll go for 2. Becht gets it out quick and able to hold on and take the hit was Higgins. And they cut it to 9.
So decisive on this drive. I mean, you could argue that was as decisive as Rocco Becht has been all game. Set up on the slant, really nice job. And again, the ball in front of Taylor Davis, the safety. I mean, there's 3 throws on this drive. Beautifully placed right in front of the defender for positive yardage, touchdown, or a 2-point play.
Can't help but think back at that 2-point play. Iowa State didn't get to run because they committed a false start and then had to kick the extra point. And so it's a 9-point game. Look at those numbers, though. I mean, that won't keep you warm at night, but I mean, it shows you where the high end of this offense can be. You see Higgins shaken up, perhaps by that hit at the end. And hands team on the field for the Kansas return group. This will be the first onside kick attempt for Iowa State this season. It's looking like they're setting up the little sidewinder. It'll be Gilbert, and that is covered up by Luke Grimm. The sure hands of Grimm prevented a fumble on the last possession, and he's able to recover the onside kick here.
Nice job by the front line, not letting the ball hit them. Really well coached. Good kick. Trying to get that one high bounce right there. A little bit. Grimm is all over it.
They definitely have a core on this team, right?
Yeah, they do.
Kansas. Think about Daniels, Devin Neal, Grimm, Cable, we saw it injured earlier on offense. Bryant and Dotson, the guys who've been around here on defense. You mentioned it earlier, but when they went to back-to-back bowl games last year, it was just the second time in program history that had happened at Kansas. Savion Morrison has come into the game. This is Neal. And a 9-yard carry will make it 2nd down and 1. We're going to stoppage here coming up in 30 seconds, and Iowa State still has 1 timeout. It's a defense that gives up 15 points a game. Right? Iowa State has been fantastic under John Haycock. For the 6th straight year, they entered today as a top 3 scoring defense in the Big 12. This is unusual.
And they really just today, I think, haven't had any pressure on quarterback Jalon Daniels. Haven't really been in the backfield. Going to try right now to see if they can create a turnover, something. With 2 minutes left in the ball game. We'll be back. This one's tight here at Arrowhead.
Two minutes remaining here at Arrowhead as Kansas tries to finish off 17th ranked Iowa State. Nearly 300 passing yards, 238 on the ground, and a season high 533.
I think the thing that stands out, obviously the yards are dramatic, but it was the amount of time Jalon Daniels had in the pocket to throw down the field. I mean, so many chunk plays today. Did a really nice job, and then when they had to run it with the triple option, QB lead, here we go, QB sneak for a 1st down. They've just followed him, and he has not. I mean, what, 1 negative play the whole day. You know, really impressive job by this trio led by Daniels. Of course, Devin is the real deal. Neal and Quentin Skinner was that man down the field. And coming into this game, guy, you're thinking Iowa State, ranked team, CFP, Big 12 championship aspirations. And they said it. Matt Campbell said it. Look, Kansas is Big 12 caliber, talent-wise, for a championship. They look like it today.
Their bowl hopes remain alive as Kansas does something haven't gotten to do a lot this year. The victory formation, borrowing the Kansas City Chiefs home this season as their stadium gets a big remodel. That'll pay off next year. A hug there between the 2 men who have helped rebuild this program, the quarterback Jalon Daniels and the Lawrence native who's gone arm in arm with Lance Leipold in bringing Kansas football back to the forefront of the sport. And he set a rushing record today. And they finally get the payoff for what they've believed they could do all season long.
And the first question we asked the staff and players was, how is the locker room when you don't meet those expectations? When you don't exceed your own expectations? And they said, we're dialed. And this looked like a team behind that man right there and his counterpart, Devin Neal, led by that head coach, Lance Leipold. They looked dialed. They really did, man. It was impressive in so many ways, physically at the line of scrimmage, schematically, and the playmakers rose up on this stage against the 17th team in the nation.
Yeah, final score will not tell the story of this game. Kansas fans, they believe their team can still do something special this year. Today, they do. A 3rd straight win over Iowa State for Lance Leipold, and the 2nd straight loss after starting 7-0 for Iowa State. What a day. The Stars showed up big. We had fun here. Hope you enjoyed it. For our producer, Eric Mandia, Derek Manning, our director, Yogi Roth, this is Guy Haberman saying thank you.